All right. So yesterday I left off where I really didn't understand basically the for in loop. And so I kind of thought it over throughout the night, throughout the day at work. And what I believe it is basically you're creating a variable, whatever variable name you decide to give it. It could be X, it could be I, it could be key, whatever. And so this variable takes on the value of how many objects are in friend or whatever object that you put here. Let me see. Let's see if I can do this. So let's see what this does for us. It's almost like an array, I believe. So undefined. So we put a exclamation. Nope. So I believe friends is like an array. Maybe we can try this. So let's go friends, and then let's do just number one. See what we get. It looks like it's still undefined. Yeah. So anyways, I think it takes how many variables or how many sub-objects, I guess you would say, are in the friends object. And then you use that variable number to cycle through. I don't know if you, so like it's saying like here, it should go through it twice. So it would cycle through it twice in the for loop. So then you would go, so it'd be number, let's say the value is 0, because everything starts at 0. So 0, or maybe it's 1, I'm not sure. Anyways, and then you go friends 1. Let's see if I can go back 1, it might show me what that means. Somewhere up here, key. So that's this one. The key bit can be any placeholder name you like. It's sort of like when you put a placeholder parameter name in a function, it takes an argument. I tell you, they need to explain this better, because this isn't the greatest explanation of these of an object and how they work, especially when you just throw in a foreign loop and you've never explained it, and then the explanation that you give is it's kind of like a placeholder. Like what is it actually? So I think that's a poor explanation, and that needs to improve. So we can look it up, for in loop. So because that's kind of vague, I actually tried to do my own research on it. And so I went back to cover objects in their entirety. So we might just run through this explanation. So this creates the variable car or the object because it's got these curly braces, and then it's got properties, type, model, color. So you could have multiple cars with different properties. So what it's saying is this is the property. So the object person has a first name, a last name, has an age, and has eye color. And then the value of those, or this is a string, integer, string. So this is just showing you how to create one. There's two different ways. This is the first. It's called, what is it called? It's over here. You can do it two different ways. So object literal or constructor. So literal, you can create it by using this, or you can do object constructor by doing it this way. So literal, constructor. They both do the same thing. Actually, both of these constructors. Okay, so when I use this, apparently over here, that's how I'm accessing this is how I'm accessing friends bill. I wonder if it's friends.bill, which in this case, Steve is what we're looking for. First name of undefined. No. function. Let's see, where's our function at? Now this is our function. Returns this dot first name plus space, this dot last name. Yeah, there's something I'm not getting on here. So I'll ask you guys to leave a comment on this video of what I'm not understanding about objects. So I get the fact that you create an object and then you give it properties. And here's the value of that property. What I don't get is down here in the function, search function. Okay, I'm going to pass it a name, which is going to be, you know, in this case, Steve. So then I do a for in loop. And I guess this is what I'm not getting right here. The if and the for is, so if I go back to 1, if I go here and pull this, and I paste it here, let's see the difference. Function name, property in friends, which is fine because it's key in friends, same thing. If friends, in brackets, property key, okay, same thing. Dot first name equals name, what I pass to it. So it's saying if this Steve equals what it passed to it, Steve, then you log friends property, friends key. I mean, I have literally the same exact thing that it has on there. So let's see, this apparently runs properly. Actually, it does it twice. I think that, so it lists shouldn't this just say the names? So I don't know if this check is doing the right thing. Kind of feel like this part of the module is wacky. So I'm gonna copy this, and I'm just gonna paste it on mine. See what happens. I'll delete mine, which is the same as it. Function doesn't return a contact information for Steve. My list seems to work. Oh, let me delete this search. Yeah, see, I don't get it. So let's go through it again. Number 2, creating your object. All right. Reset the code. Why do I need 2 semicolons? Apparently I only need 1. Don't know why it's there. We're going to do object literal. So var object name. So we're going to go friends, like it wants us to do, equals, you're now an object. All right, good deal. Good to go. Seems like object constructors are kind of messy. Reset my code. All right, adding your friend. Good news. Let's add some friends to our friends object. Each friend will need a name, phone number, and so on. We'll use a new object for each friend so that we can remember their information. So objects within objects. Okay, cool. So we're going to create them the same way, I guess. Add a new empty object to your friend's object. Make sure you add a friend named Bill and a friend named Steve. Use your friend names as a key for the property objects as the keys. Huh. Okay. We'll see what that looks like just so we don't mess it up. So we're going to go var. I guess right off the bat, I can actually just add them in here. I'm going to make this try to look neat. So we're going to go Bill, empty object, comma, Steve, empty object, nothing. Or with the brackets or dot notation like this. So we can actually do them 3 different ways. Pick one and stick with it, JavaScript. All right. All right. So let's go to the next lesson. Reset code. Now let's add some properties to our friends. We'll want them to have a first name, last name, and a phone number. So we do Bill. So object within an object, but this is a key. I don't know if you would call that key object. I don't know if this comma is going to stay here or not. Let's find out. So we're going to give him a first name. His first name is Bill, comma. So it means we can put these all in one line. Last name is Gates. And number is another string. All right. Then we'll drop down here. We're going to go Steve. Steve is going to have a first name. I'm just going to copy this out. Steve Jobs. And he's going to have All right. Let's reset code. Let's add another property. We're going to put a comma, and then we're going to add address. And that address is going to be an array. We're just going to copy this. Right here. He's going to be in, let's say, California, whatever. Rich land. So we added an array to it, okay. All right, so now we start creating our functions here. So our first function is going to be called list. So var list equals function. And the parameters we're going to pass to it. Looks like nothing. Let's get our hint. No, we're going to pass friends to it. So the for in loop looks just like this. So for key, which is Bill and Steve, in object friends, we're going to go console.log. We're going to return. What are we going to do? So I'm going to go friends key, which is Bill and Steve. Let's see if this works. So I'm going to call list. I'm going to pass it friends. See what it does. No. Same error. I didn't close out the for loop. Function isn't printing the right output. Okay, what am I printing? Key. So I pass it friends. I'll narrow it down. For key in friends, print out 2 Print out to the screen, friends, key. Let's see how they do theirs. So just print out the key. Okay. Okay. So I think this function's running, and then I call it to run, and it runs. So do it again here. There. So let's see. List is our function. We pass it friends. So if I don't do that, what happens? Still does it. See, it's telling me one thing, but I don't. If I do that, it doesn't access that key's value. Yeah, see, I don't think something's functioning properly. They tell me to do one thing, and I have to do something different. So I want to access the value of the key bill. Wouldn't I do key first name? Key dot first name? No, it just doesn't make sense. It's not printing the right output, but it actually is printing the right output. Bill and Steve, Bill and Steve. Console log friends look, look. Do I have to pass it anything? Yeah. Create a list, function list that takes a single parameter. Okay. In the body of the function, write a for in loop. In the loop, use console log to print out the key. For example, if you only have Bill and Steve as entries, list should just print out Bill and Steve. So I'm not actually looking for the first name. I'm actually just looking for friend's key. Printing out their information. And just log the key. Bill and Steve. Bill and Steve, not Bill and Steve. Okay, that makes sense. Why it puts this in here, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't want me to access the data in their instructions, so why tell me how to access the data? Okay. So not first name. See what happens here. Nothing. Undefined. All right, let's move on. So I'm calling a function, passing it something, which I don't know what I'm passing to it. I assume it's going to be the object that I want to look for the key in. So in this case, it would be list friends. I can name this whatever I want. Rabbits. Yeah, it does the same thing. Okay. So I'm passing the object friends, which contains other objects, Bill and Steve, which are keys to the properties, and the properties which holds the value. Okay. Reset our code. All right, so from this point, we want to create another function. The second function we'll add will be called search. So let's do variable search. Equals function friends. Okay, we'll take the first name as an argument. So we'll put name as an argument. We'll call it down here. And we'll put in Steve is what it's going to ask for. Steve. Okay. It will try to match the first name it receives to any of the first names of our friends in the context list. If it finds a match in our log, our friends' contact information, it will log friends' contact information, first name, last name, number, and address to the console. So define a function search that takes a single argument name. If the argument passed to the function matches any of the first names in friends, it will log that friend's contact information to the console and return it. Okay, so I need to do both console. So we do console.log, also returned whatever it is we're returning. So we're going to do a for again. And we're going to go for variable key. In friends. And we're going to go if let's see if name that we pass to it equals we got to get to the first name, so we're going to go key and dot first name. I'm just guessing here. Something about parens for the value. I have a feeling this is going to work. Log. I'm going to log parens and that key. And we're also going to return friends that key. It's probably not going to work. No method first name. Friends. That key. That. Nope. Did you create a function called search? Well, it looks like I did. Pass to it Steve. And for the keys, Bill and Steve in friends. So Bill. If name Steve is equal to friends key. Okay, I did something, but I don't know if that's it names both of them. Actually, it did print out Steve's information here. Something about accessing object methods. You access an object method with the following syntax. Parens. So it lists, then it goes. So it lists, and then it runs this function. So it lists, and then it runs this function. Then it. So okay, it only runs this function once, which is nice. Down here, Steve, Bill, Steve. Steve, Bill. Why is it showing Bill's information? I'm going to pass directly to it. Steve. Name. Rabbit again. Rabbit. Call search. And I'll pass to Steve. And it's going to tell me to F off. Steve. So tell me why Bill's information comes up. That's what I want to know. Same thing. I'm not calling for Bill's information. I mean, the function returns the right thing. But why? Okay. So it does it properly here. So I don't call it. I call it there. Let me call it here. Search. And then I want Bill. My question is, why does it run the function? Oh, I'm doing it twice. Got it. Console and return. So if I take away the return, I get Bill. Okay. Okay. Got it. This should give me an error. Yeah. Let's move on. So, introduction to objects 1. So, objects again. See how far along we are. Objects 1. All right. So if the yellow triangle warnings appear in the editor next to any code you provide or we provide in any exercise, it's fine. Okay. The very basic building blocks of JavaScript are primitive data types. We know 3: strings, numbers, booleans. We learned about the use of comparators: greater than, less than or equal to, not equal to, etc. One really important thing to note is that anytime comparisons are made, a Boolean value is returned. Boolean value is returned, true or false. There's a long and ugly expression in the editor. Overall, it evaluates to a Boolean. Either the entire statement is true or it is false. What does this expression in the editor evaluate to? Declare a variable named answer. Assign it to the Boolean value that the expression evaluates to. Delete the default code in the editor and run your code. So let's create a variable. Why can't we just go var answer equals? What happens? Yay, I don't even know. So we just need to see what this evaluates to and then assign it to here. So let's figure it out by going, let's just log it. Console log, parens, see what it tells us. It says it's true. All right, so we want to comment this out. And then we're just going to go var answer equals true. Assume that's what they're saying. All right. Reset our code. All right, we know 2 ways of storing data types. We can use variables or arrays. We use variables to store data, like strings or numbers, booleans, that we later want to access. An array is exactly the same as a variable in that it stores data. The difference is that an array can store many more values, while a variable can only store 1. To access arrays, we use bracket notation, and remember that arrays use a 0-based indexing where the first position is 0. So look at the array, multiples of 8, okay, here, and find the one that doesn't fit. So we're just adding 8 to each one of them here. So 58 looks like it doesn't fit. Place X in line 6 with that variable, with the variable answer. Place X in line 6 such that the variable answer is assigned the Boolean value of true. So it's saying, so it wants, okay, I get it. So they want us to basically take which position and come up, basically find the one that's false. So we want this to return false. So this is saying that the modulus, the remainder of what you divide 8 into, if it does not equal 0, so if it doesn't equal 0, then the answer, the variable answer, will store false as its data in the variable. So 0, which is the first position, that would be true because it would have a remainder of 0. 16 is divisible, 24 is divisible, 30 is divisible, 4 is divisible, 58 is not. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put 5 in here. Run it. All right. So we can also check that out by going console.log, and then we're just going to put in answer to make sure that it actually does. All right, so that's the data that's stored in here. So if I did 4, which we know is evenly divisible, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it should return true, or false rather. Let's check that out again. Because it's saying not equal to 0. So is 40, does 40 not have a remainder of 0 when divided by 8? And the answer is true. No, the answer is false. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The answer is false. There we go. But we're looking to find true as being not equal to 0 when divided by 8. Kind of confusing. All right. Reset our code. Oh, the FizzBuzz. This one supposedly is a question on Google and I think Facebook's interviews. When you go in, they tell you to do the FizzBuzz. So we're going to play a game, FizzBuzz. The rules are simple. If you want to count, we want to count from 1 to 20. But if the number is divisible by 3, we're going to print fizz. So log console log fizz. And if the number is divisible by 5, we're going to log buzz. And if it's divisible by 3 and 5, so what, 15, we're going to say fizz buzz. There are many ways to do this, but we'd like you to use the nested conditional in this exercise. So we're going to print out numbers 1 through 20. All right, so we got to figure this out on our own. This might take me a bit. So we're going to make an array. Let's just kind of script this out. So variable number is equal to, we're going to make it an array. And we're going to say 1, 2. So actually, can't we just use like a for loop to count through? So what if I did like for variable num equal, we'll start it at 1 because it only says 1 through 20, not 0 through 19. And while num is less than 20, we're going to add 1 to num. Okay, we're going to go if num friends if num has a modulus divided by 3 is equal to, we could do a switch statement here too. Well, it's nested. We could do switch statement. That'd be the easiest, I think. So you'd run the number through the switch statement, you let it fall through. I think the problem would be if you did a switch statement and you did a fall through, so you did like switch and then num, whatever. And then you did like, if you want to find 3, and then you want to find case 3, and then you'd run fizz, and then case 5, you'd run buzz, and then case well, you could print it out to the same line, so then you could technically do it just 3 and 5. So it'd go, it'd fall through, and then you default. Like continue or something. And it would just stop and go back up here. So this wouldn't be in the if statement. This would just be thinking out loud. You just make a switch statement for num, boom, run through. 1 would go pass through, and continue. Okay, go back up here and add 1 to num, b2, run through, do it again, continue. 3 would go fizz, right? It would console log fizz, and then it would fall through. 5, nope, continue, boom. So let's say we got to 15, and it would go modulus actually, we would have to put it in an if statement. Like modulus 3 or 5. Yeah. Equals 0. And then we can run it. There you go. I mean, that's not what they want us to do here, but I just think it would be, if I were on the test, that's what I would do. I would do an if, and then I would do or, and then I would do num modulus 5 equals 0. So it means either one of them would get passed through. So if it were 15, it would run off of this one. Boom, it would pass through. And then you just get it to log it on the same line. So you don't put a new console line. You just make it log out fizz, and then it would run to 5, and then it would go buzz on the same line. Yeah, seems like it'd be pretty simple. Here they want us to do nested statement though, so so I think we're going to do if modulus 3 or num modulus 5. equals 0. Then I want you to pass through. Else it's just going to go back up and run this thing again. So when you get into the if statement, we're going to go if num modulus 3. This is repeating code. I don't like this. Then we're going to go, not like I'm the most efficient, trust me. Console.log, and then we're going to go fizz. Yeah, nope. Yeah, fizz. Then we're going to go. But you know what's going to happen is if we get to 15, which is going to be the fizz buzz, it's actually going to run fizz, and then it would drop out. It would pass the else, and it will. So my else was going to be num modulus 5, but that's going to be it's just going to bypass it. So it'll just say fizz, and it won't say fizz buzz. So in that case, we want to run it backwards. In my mind, it's backwards. So we want to look for 15 first. So is this divided by 3 and 5 evenly? And then we're going to say console.log, and we're going to go ahead and say fizzbuzz, and I'm going to give it some parens here, some curly braces. But then we're going to add an else if, and work our way back down here. 5, it could be 3 or 5 here. 5. I'm gonna run this through 100 or 1,000 too, just to see what comes up. And we're gonna say buzz, and then last. Screwing all my friends up here, man. That's that guy. What's that guy go to? And then we're going to go else. Else. Same thing, modulus 3. We're just going to copy this. No, we're not. We're just going to copy this. So I should run another else if here. Because if we just did else, it would default to it. Now, mind you, I'm learning this stuff. I'm not an expert by any means. Not even close. Won't be for years. So I think this is it. So if it's none of these, it goes back to the top, adds a number, runs through here. So if it's divisible by both, it says fizz. buzz. If and then it goes back and does it again. And it won't be, so it goes to 5. If it hits 5, it's going to go buzz. It's just going to skip the rest of it and go back up here. So basically, I'm just asking it to hit 1 and then leave. Unlike the switch statement, I want it to run through all of them. All right. Wrong number of items. Oh, it wants me to count. Okay. So fizz, buzz, fizz, fizz, buzz, fizz, fizz, buzz, fizz. All right. I mean, we're getting somewhere, but I didn't count. So at the end of this whole if statement, every time it runs it, I want it to count for me actually in the for statement, not the if statement, which is going to be in this guy. Yeah. So I want to count. So we'll do log num. So num's pulling double duty for us. It's counting for us, and it's also our number that we're checking to see is, a divisible by 5 or 3 or both. And I missed the number, so I need to actually go 21 here because I start at 1. If I went 0, I could run through 20, but then we wouldn't be 1 through 20. We'd be 0 through 19. So I have to go up by 1. So it says you look like you print out the wrong number of items. Let's see. 3 fizz. Great. Oh, so what they actually want is us to go 1, 2 fizz, 4, 5, or 1, 2 fizz, 4 buzz, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, that changes it up, doesn't it? Otherwise, just print out the number. So that just means I go else statement. So else, you just count. So console log num. All right, so what it's going to do is run through all that stuff again. Instead of counting every time, it's just going to count or print out the variable value, the num's value, if it doesn't run through one of these. So this should do it. Yeah. So 1, 2 fizz, 4 buzz. Stop doing that. Fizz, 7, 8 fizz buzz, 11 fizz, 13. 14 fizz buzz. There's our fizz buzz. We're going to run this through 1,001. Let's see what this does. It's going to be mad at me. Wow, that took a minute. So let's see if our fizz buzzes are correct. 15, yes. 30, yes. 45. Yes, 30, 15. 5, yep. 60, 3 and 5. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty consistent. That was 1,000 times. It's pretty good. And what would be cool here is if I did, so we don't know how many fizz buzzes. It would take us a while to count them. So fizz buzz count. And then we're going to go buzz count. We're going to go fizz count. And then so when we hit a fizz buzz, we're going to go fizz buzz count. We're just going to add one to it. And the same thing with the other guys. Buzz count. And the fizz. All right, and then we got to log them. So we're going to log them no matter what. So outside the for loop, we're just going to log them. Fizz count. I think this is kind of cool. I mean, you can do this to 1,000,000 if you wanted to. I mean, it would take it a while. If it took it, I don't know, 5 seconds for 1,000, 1,000,000 would be what, like 100 times that? 500 seconds? So 10 minutes? If that's right, I'm not sure. I think this is right. I declare the variable outside. It's a global. I add to it. Hopefully it doesn't reset to 0. I might have to like, we'll see. Okay, that worked. Oh, I didn't change this buzz count and fizz buzz count. Now that kind of makes sense, right? So we got more numbers that are divisible by a smaller number, 3, and in the middle, 5, and then the large number, or the more constrained number, 66. Let's see what percentage they are. Oh, if I can make that an int, can I call it to be an int? Oh. Actually, so switch these around because that kind of is confusing. It's actually this number, less 49%. of the buzzes, we have basically 2 to 1, and then 1 to 4 or 4 to 1 fizzes to fizz buzzes, 2 to 1 buzzes to fizz buzzes. Anyways, let me change it back because I don't know if this is going to run on the next. Let me get rid of these guys. I think the counts are kind of cool. It's not going to let me submit, so. We can not log it, but I think we can still count it and it'll still let us pass, yeah. Why did it log 2 here? Huh. $19, $18, $19, $22. It's kind of odd. $5. What the hell? Whatever. All right, well, let me see here real quick. That's not going to work, is it? Let's go with -1 a.m. All right, I got a little bit of time. All right, so let's move on. So I got about 15 more minutes before I got to go to work. I have to celebrate. I have to celebrate you, baby. This exercise is a lot of movies and reviews to type in. You might wonder, is this teaching or coding typing? The reasons why there's so many cases to deal with. I want to show you that if we used an if-else statements, that would be inefficient. It sounds like they're going to get to switch statements here. Shit, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Well, looks like we're going to go through it. Imagine if you have a moving collection and you want to write code that returns your review for each one. Here are the movies and your reviews. Story 2, Finding Nemo and the Lion King. Here's the review. Write a function named get review. That takes a movie name and return its review based on the information above. If given a movie name is not, if given a movie name not found, just return I don't know. use the structure learned in the earlier lesson, not to write this function. I assume that's switch statements, and I don't even remember. Switch, and then is it parens? Shit, I don't know. It's a block of code, I think. And then you got cases, and then your case here have to match. So ours is going to be Toy Story 2. I forget if these are in parens or how. I'm going to have to go look at what switch statements look like. So I'm pretty sure that's what they want us to use here. Switch statement, switch statement, switch. Block of code, break. Okay. Oh, parens. Okay. So we're going to pass in movie. We're going to take whatever people put here. We're going to put it here. And then we're going to go down the list and see if it matches. So then our code is going to be, we're going to say console.log, and we're going to log out what they have here. Yeah. And then we're going to break. And then we're going to go to the next case. We're going to copy this, paste it, enter, enter, paste it, enter, enter, default, lowercase. And we're going to say, I don't know. Oops. And then we're going to break. I assume if you get to the default, you wouldn't need a break. What does it say here? No, you don't need a break. I think it would just be assumed if you made it that far. So case 2, I don't feel like typing all this stuff, so we're going to do a cut and paste. Finding Nemo, cool animations. All right, we're going to go to the Lion King. And then we're going to go Great Songs. We'll see if my syntax is correct, because this looks odd that there's a space here. Oh, okay. A colon after my code block. Yeah, and semicolon. Semicolon, so this is wrong. Keyword case. I thought that looked odd. All right, should be it. No, wait. We didn't call for anything, did we? Get review. And we're gonna pass it in a movie name. It doesn't care apparently, so we're gonna go to toy. We're just gonna copy and paste it. I'm trying to return the right thing. Great story. Do not use an if-else statement to write this function. The function, the switch expression, put it in brackets. And what do you want me to return? I mean, let's look at the hints. So it was a switch statement. I have my syntax proper. It wants me to return. That's the problem. Return. Return. There it is. And let's say I put in something that's odd. So we can actually do like, can I do prompt? Let's do, I don't know. All right, looks like this is where we're going to break off, so it's a good spot to stop. Introduction to objects 1. I guess the first object was object 0. I have to praise you like I should. I have to praise you like I should. Congratulations for making this far. We hope that you're enjoying the course and feel more comfortable programming in JavaScript, if you can call what I'm doing programming. We have a number of exciting things in store for you. I can't wait to roll them out. If you're ready to start learning about objects, print in the console, I'm ready for objects. Yay. Get a little sneak peek here and then we'll stop. Data types. In this lesson, we'll focus on the 5th data type, objects. Good, maybe I'll get a better understanding of them. A little bit more complex. Objects allow us to represent real encode real-world things and entities such as a person or a bank account. We do this by storing all relevant information in one place, an object. So it's like a big locker. How do we create an object? Like declaring a variable or defining a function. We use var followed by the name of the object and equal sign, so assignment. And each object then starts with a curly brace and has information inside and ends with a curly brace and a semicolon. Create an object called Bob, so var Bob equals to curly braces. There is an empty Bob. That's right, but let's just look at the hints. Okay, it just tells you. All right. Properties. Reset this. So let's review what we previously covered. Each piece of information we include in an object is known as a property. Think of a property like a category label that belongs to some object. When creating an object, each property has a name followed by colon, and then the value of that property. So in this case, Spencer is the object, age is his property, 22 is the value of that property. And then the value of the property, for example, Bob's object to show he is 34, we type in 34. Age is the property and 34 is the value. When we have more than one property, they are separated by commas. So the comma, which is why I kind of like put them on the same line because it's so small. The last property does not end with a comma because it's the last property. Let's make it look better too. See the console for the object I've created about myself. Can you create an object called me? Describes your age, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to copy that. Actually, we're just going to type it out. So we go var me equals curly braces, semicolon, age 34, I know, country, the USA, and of course it's a string, and we're done. All right, so I'm gonna stop it here. I really do have to go. All right, I will do it again tomorrow after my run.